Hi, my name is Vicky Mancini, and I'm Gateway Association's Employment Supports Manager. And today I'm presenting a webinar on interviews. Hopefully, we can cover some great tips to help you have a successful interview. We're going to talk a little bit about virtual interviews and how to be successful there. And we're going to review some typical questions that are asked by employers. Is this you in an interview? You remain calm and cool and collected and relaxed? Or is this you in an interview? Because that can be me sometimes until I learned a few tips. So hopefully I can share those tips with you and make the interview process a little bit more relaxing for you. So here's some of the first things I would suggest is know your values and what the values that the company you want to work for has. Try and match those with yours. Do your research. Keep looking up those different places like Glassdoor, different places. Go on their website, on the company's website. See if it's a company that you want to work for. Find out what they really want. And do you have the skills and strengths that they're asking for? They'll be listed in the posting. And if you can match those, then that's great. Can you commit to their scheduling needs? Know the location and how you're going to get there. Know what barriers you have and where you may need more or less training. More research is know whether you want a part-time or full-time work and what your availability is. So not only do your own research, but have some self-awareness of what you need. Be sure you dress for the interview. No matter what job it is, please don't show up in a hoodie and track pants. Be well groomed, showered, haircut, clean hands and nails, and trimmed facial hair. Avoid wearing any perfumes or colognes. Turn off your phone and have a list of questions that you want to ask. Some other tips are arrive a few minutes early and do some deep breathing then if you're really nervous, or use whatever tools and techniques that you can use to keep yourself calm. During the interview process, sit up straight and be interested. If necessary, use any stress reduction tools you have to minimize your anxiety. The tool that I've left you here, the HTTPS, it's a really cool way to kind of manage your anxiety and de-stress for a few seconds. What's really neat about it, it's like a flower opening up, and you breathe in while the flower is opening up, and then you breathe out as it closes up again. So it's quite a good tool. Practice, 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 practice for the interview. So a virtual interview is a way for employers to interview you without being face to face. You probably already knew that. Virtual interviews can be live or recorded in advance. Here's some tips for successful digital interviews. Be prepared. Again, do your research. As you would with any interview, research common interview questions. We're going to go through some of them today. Keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. Display your skill set through thoughtful examples. So lots of the questions they're going to ask are going to be about your skill set. So think about what your skill set is and how you might answer those questions. Make sure to keep your answers short and sweet. Try to show enthusiasm and energy, and make sure your technology is working. Again, same as face-to-face interviews, you need to practice. So here's some draft interview questions. But first of all, I want to say come prepared and look professional. Research the company and research the position you're going to be applying for so you can answer specific questions if you're asked. So any questions that an interview asks about tell me about a time when, or a behavioral question, try and answer in 3 ways. Number 1, describe the situation in as much detail as you can to help them better understand. Talk about what you did, how you dealt with the task or the conflict or whatever, and what the outcome was. So if you can supply numbers or data or anything that reflects your efforts, produce those. That'll be good. Some of the other common questions are tell me about yourself or describe yourself in 3 words or such questions like that. Again, answer in 3 parts. What experience do you have that relates to the position and for how long? Managers want to know how your previous experiences prepared you for this position. What makes you stand out and what makes you a fit for this position? Talk about your availability. Be aware of what the company needs. So if they're asking, or saying that it's really important that somebody be dependable, Tell them how other employers have depended on you. And if you don't have any work experience, talk about volunteer experience you had in classes, or even, with a group of friends. So maybe you're always the one to be at the meeting place on time. Why should we hire you is another question that's often asked. Talk about the company you're being interviewed for and why you want to work for that company. Talk about its values and missions and what they need to know and how you would fit into the company where you can add to their core values. Describe your last position. This is a perfect time to highlight your strengths and skills. No negativity. So they don't want to hear how you didn't get along with the manager, or they don't want to hear about your conflict with coworkers. They want to hear about your strengths and skills and what you did in that last position and where you were successful. Go into more detail about the duties and tasks you did. Remember to keep it short and sweet though. Describe your dependability and your reliability. Highlight extra things that you might have done in your previous position anytime you showed initiative or leadership, or how you got a job done, how you acted as a team member and pulled the whole team together maybe. If you're asked why you left your last job, again, in answering this question, the interviewer wants to know that you're loyal and trustworthy, so they don't want to hear you blaming other employees or management for your decision to leave. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Again, the company is looking to see if they're going to have to recruit in a hurry. So be honest. And you might want to talk about what their career ladder looks like and how you can build upon your skills and move up that ladder. What barriers or challenges do you feel you may face? You may want to talk about living with the diagnosis you've been given and the challenges having that diagnosis presents to you. And what tools and strategies do you use to work around those challenges? If you're being asked a question about name your 3 weaknesses, or talk about your challenges and your weaknesses, but follow it up with how you're improving or what you're doing to mitigate the effects of those weaknesses. Talk about tools and techniques that you use. So often the last question that employers ask is, do you have any questions for me? It's really important that you have a list of questions to ask the employer, because that shows that you really are interested in that position. And if you've already done your research and you know the company shares your values, you know that you're fit for that position, then you want to show them that you're really interested. So you can ask things like, what might my typical day look like? Or what will be my primary focus? I noticed this about your company. Can you tell me more about that? The opportunities and challenges with this position are attractive to me. Can you tell me what my career path might look like? What kind of training might I expect? Will you call me either way? And what availability are you looking for? Some others are, what is your evaluation process so I can gauge my progress and know where I need to improve? You can ask them, what do you love about your job? What is your culture like? What are the next steps in the process? Is a good question to ask. You want to know where you're going to go next. And when can I hear back about the position? So we're going to follow this up at some point in time. Keep looking at the schedule and the newsletters with a mock interview. If you have any questions or concerns or comments about this webinar, please feel free to give me a call or to send me an email. Here's my contact information. Thank you so much for participating in this webinar.